Kadamba dynasty. Part 1. The Kadambas were an ancient Karnataka royal dynasty that controlled northern Karnataka and the Konkan from Banavasi in the present-day Uttara Kannada district. Mayurasharma established the kingdom about 345, and it later showed the capacity to grow to imperial dimensions. The dynasty then ruled as a feudatory of the bigger Kannada empires, the Chalukya and Rashtrakuta empires, for about 500 years, during which time they expanded into Goa and Hanagal. Kadamba dynasty, origin. The Kadambas lived alongside the Western Ganga dynasty and created one of the first local kingdoms to rule the country autonomously. From the mid-6th century, the dynasty ruled as a vassal of the bigger Kannada empires, the Chalukya and Rashtrakuta empires, for about 500 years, during which time it split into subsidiary kingdoms. The major sources of Kadamba history are inscriptions in Sanskrit and Kannada. The Talagunda, Gundanur, Chandravali, Halasi, and Halmidi inscriptions are only a few of the noteworthy inscriptions that provide insight on Karnataka's old royal line. They were Manavya Gotra and Haritiputras, lineage, which links them to the local Chutas of Banavasi, a feudatory of the Satavahana kingdom. The inscriptions of Talagunda and Gundanur bear witness to this. The Talagunda inscription of Crown Prince Santavarma, one of their earliest inscriptions, provides what may be the most likely explanation for the creation of the Kadamba monarchy. Mayurasharma was a resident of Talagunda, in present-day Shimoga district of Karnataka state, and his family was named after the Kadamba tree that flourished there. The Talagunda inscription also establishes Mayurasharma as the kingdom's founder. Kadamba dynasty, expansion. In around 365, Mayurasharma was replaced by his son Kangavarma. To safeguard his realm, he had to confront the strength of Vakataka. According to the Talagunda inscription, he had marital ties with prominent governing families such as the imperial Guptas of northern India. King Madhava of the Ganga dynasty married one of his daughters. Only Ravavarma, who ascended to the throne in 485, succeeded in developing the kingdom after Kakasthavarma. His reign was marked by a series of clashes within the family as well as against the Pallavas and the Gangas. Kadamba dynasty, administration. The Kadamba rulers, like the Satavahana kings, referred to themselves as Dharma Maharajas. The prime minister, Pradhana, the steward, Manevergade, the council secretary, Tantrapala or Sabhakarya Sachiva, the scholarly elders, Vidyavritas, the physician, Deshamatya, the private secretary, Rahasyadikritha, the chief secretary, Sarvakaryakarta, the chief justice, Dharmadhyaksha, and other officials, Bojaka and Ayukta. Officers in the army included Jagadala, Dandanayaka, and Senapati. The king was assisted in administration by a crown prince from the royal dynasty. Kadamba dynasty, economy. The major source of knowledge on the economy and the things that shaped it is inscriptions and literature. Mixed farming, a combination of grazing and agriculture, dominated by the affluent Gavunda peasantry, today's Gaudas, seemed to be the way to go, since both the amount of grain produced and the number of cattle had defined prosperity. Several accounts indicate the giving of both grazing and cultivable land in Kalagas or Kondugas to either people who battled livestock thieves or their relatives. There have been 9 Vishaya discovered. There had been Mahagramas, Taluk, and Dashagramas, Habli, under a Vishaya. Mahagrama had a greater number of villages than Dashagramas. Tax on 1/6 of land output was required. Perjunka, load tax, Vadaravula, royal family social security tax, Bilkoda, sales tax, Kirakula, land tax, Panaya, beetle tax, and other professional charges on traders were among the levies imposed. Kadamba dynasty, society. In organized Hindu society, the caste system was widespread, with the Brahmins and Kshatriyas at the top. The erection of memorial stones to honor the deceased hero was a unique feature of medieval Indian society, hero stone. These stones, with their inscriptions and relief sculptures, were intended to deify the fallen hero. The highest concentration of such stones, totaling over 2,650 and dating from the 5th to 12th centuries, may be found in India's current Karnataka area. Even Jainism and Buddhism, which gained popularity by rejecting social hierarchy at first, grew to adopt the trappings of a caste-based society. Sati appears to have been embraced much after the Vedic period, given there was no authorization for the practice in the Rig Veda's funeral songs. Men were big fans of physical education. The book Agnapurana advised men to avoid exercises while they had either a partially digested meal or a full stomach. Kadamba dynasty, architecture. The Kadamba style includes unique features, including some similarities to the Chalukyan and Pallava styles. They were inspired by the Satavahana architectural tradition. The most noticeable aspect of their architecture is the shikara, known as Kadamba shikara. The shikara is shaped like a pyramid and climbs in steps, with a stupaka or kalasha at the summit. Several decades later, that type of shikara was adopted in the Dadagadavali Hoysala temple and the Mahakuta temples in Hampi. Perforated screen windows were also utilized in several of their temples. The Kadambas contributed to the development of the later Chalukya Hoysala style in architecture and sculpture. They erected the Madhukeshwara, Lord Shiva, temple at Banavasi, which still stands today. The temple, which was built in the 11th century and has been restored several times, symbolizes the peak of their art. The stone carved with amazing engravings draws many visitors to the temple who love magnificent art. Kadamba dynasty, religion. The Kadambas adhered to Vedic Hinduism. Mayurasharma, the founder, was a Brahmin by birth, but his heirs changed their surname to Varma to signify their Kshatriya rank. The horse sacrifice, Ashwamedha, was carried out by several Kadamba monarchs, such as Krishna Varman. Their Talagunda inscription begins with a prayer to Lord Shiva, whilst their Halmidi and Banavasi inscriptions begin with a prayer to Lord Vishnu. They constructed the Madhukeshwara temple, which was dedicated to their family god. Thank you.